Oh my god. What? Did you know spinach is toxic? Everything we thought we knew about healthy food is wrong.
I don't know if that's...
We need coconut oil and goji berries.
That sounds awfully specific.
Wait, no, it turns out that was wrong.
What?
Fasting is the answer. Fasting and fermentation. You like kimchi, right?
Not even a little bit.
No, screw it. None of it matters. We just need to count our calories. Quick, download the app.
Which one? There are literally 1,000.
Oh no.
What now?
Turns out doing any of this is just going to give us an eating disorder.
I don't know if it's quite that simple.
Well, that's just fatphobic.
What?
Educate yourself.
What are you talking about?
I'm so tired. My name's Marcus Kane. I'm a full-time nutrition coach, and I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about deciding who to trust when it comes to your diet. So when you're done watching this video, you're going to know exactly where to invest your energy in order to find the best possible nutrition philosophy for you. And if you are finding these videos helpful, remember to like and subscribe because it helps this content reach more people. So for a bit of context, let's talk about two big personalities within the health, diet, fitness, wellness space. Layne Norton and Paul Saladino. There are plenty of other people who throw their hat into the ring with this, but for the sake of this conversation, let's talk about these two guys. Firstly, Layne Norton. It'd be pretty hard to argue with this guy, really. He's extremely scientifically literate, though some people do find him kind of condescending. And Paul Saladino seems to have some compelling points, but does film himself in supermarkets. So to understand the most important thing about these two guys and everyone else in this space, we need to talk about two more people who have nothing to do with the health, nutrition, wellness space, whatever we want to call that now. Psychologist and Nobel Prize winner Daniel Kahneman and virtuoso guitar player Joe Satriani. Why are these two people important when it comes to understanding who to trust in the nutrition space? This is going to make a whole lot of sense in just a moment, so stick with me. Now, in 1996, Joe Satriani put together the G3 tour, which consisted of himself and two other monster guitar players, Eric Johnson and Steve Vai. And according to Joe, as he mentioned on an episode of Wong Notes in 2020, one of the big concerns here with putting these big personalities together was someone stealing the show. How were these three big personalities going to exist in the same space without stepping on each other's toes or killing each other? And this is where Joe said something really important that's going to help us when it comes to knowing who to trust with nutrition. Joe said at this point not to worry about it, because everyone who's coming to those gigs, everyone who's bought a ticket, everyone who's walking through the door has already decided who their favorite is before any of these guys even play a single note. This is important to keep in mind. And when it comes to Daniel Kahneman is a Nobel Prize winner who wrote an incredible book on understanding human decision-making, namely the complexities of human decision-making and how we often think that we're being so much more objective than we actually are. This book was called Thinking Fast and Slow, and I would 100% recommend it. When it comes to diet, fitness, nutrition, wellness, whatever, the most important thing that all of us need to understand is that often we're making decisions based on who we like, more so sometimes than who is correct. And of course there are some red flags that as a nutrition coach I would always recommend looking out for, but we can get to those in just a moment. You'll notice that when I described Paul and Layne at the start of this video, I included something for each of them that was kind of like a fact, and then something for each of them that was just my own take, my own opinion, my own baggage. I said that for some people, Layne can appear to be condescending, and I said that Paul films himself in supermarkets. Now, I'm not saying for a second that we are not capable of making logical choices. We really are. But making the best choice possible starts with becoming aware of where we might be biased. For example, I'm willing to admit with 100% transparency that there are some people in the nutrition space that probably have good information, but I just don't want to listen to them because I can't stand them. So when it comes to any advice that I would have to give you about the best practices when it comes to nutrition, the more important question than am I correct is, do you like me enough to believe me? But in light of that, here are some red flags that I would recommend we all look out for in terms of nutritional advice. Red flag number one, people who lean really heavily on fear to make you fall in line with what they're peddling. Essentially, the whole "these foods are killing you and poisoning your family" crowd. Anyone who relies on fear as a marketing strategy, I can't get on board with. Red flag number two, people who get really evangelical about their chosen method. And this is hard because anyone in this space, anyone who's done this job, anyone who's had an experience with different training styles, different diets, we're all going to gravitate towards things that serve us best. And it's really easy to get really passionate about things that have given us a good experience. But we are all different. I remember when I first started helping people who were struggling with binge eating, I was getting confused sometimes because despite my personal experience and the extra education that I'd done, there were some things that really resonated with me that just did not click with who I was talking to. And I was in a very early stage of that particular journey where I thought that I had found the answer. I'd found the formula that would help everyone, and all I needed to do was just go and deliver this formula to the masses and everyone would be kind of saved. But that is so ignorant of me, right? So ignorant. And it took a moment for me to realize, like, okay, there is so much room for people's differences here and different preferences and different experiences that we can't afford to get overly passionate about any one method. My job is to give you the tools to help you find what works for you and to kind of go with you on that process, not to sit here and go, this is what's best, you need to do it. So that's definitely red flag number two. Anyone who gets super evangelical and defensive about their chosen thing. There are so many ways to do this. So in summary, when it comes to knowing who to trust, where to invest your energy in order to make the best possible decisions, when it comes to your health, when it comes to nutrition, the number one thing that we can all be doing is investing energy into understanding how our minds work and how we're making decisions, not over-investing in trying to lock down the perfect diet, because the perfect diet doesn't exist. Even if you find something that's serving you well right now, that might not be the same thing that serves you well in 3 months' time, 6 months' time, let alone a few years' time. So practice building that level of self-awareness surrounding your decision making, and you cannot go wrong. Thanks for joining me for this one. I hope you found it really helpful. Remember to like and subscribe, grab any free downloads from the description, and I'll see you again soon.